The insulin vial made a small splash as it hit the toilet water, followed by 4 more. Each one worth $300. Each one keeping me alive. My stepdad, Grant, stood over the toilet, holding the empty box that had contained my month's supply. A satisfied smirk spread across his face. Diabetics are nature's mistakes, he said, flushing the toilet. Maybe if you can't survive without artificial help, you weren't meant to survive at all. My name is Nova and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 8. For 7 years I managed it perfectly, until Grant married my mother 2 years ago. He decided my chronic illness was a personal insult to his gene pool. Mom leaned against the bathroom door frame, sipping her morning mimosa at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Maybe you'll finally disappear properly, she laughed. Without all that medicine, nature can take its course. I stared at the swirling water, calculating. Without insulin, I had maybe 2 hours before my blood sugar spiked dangerously, 4 before ketoacidosis, 6 before potential coma. But I also knew something they didn't. Ms. Reeves from Child Protective Services was scheduled for a surprise home visit at 11:30 a.m. I'd been texting her for weeks, building a case, and she'd mentioned she might drop by this weekend. That's attempted murder, I said quietly, pulling out my glucose meter. My blood sugar was already at 180 and climbing. It's teaching you not to be weak, Grant corrected, tossing the empty box at me. Your mother and I are tired of spending money on your defect. Insurance covers it, I pointed out. Our insurance, Mom snapped. For our family. And you're barely that. I checked the time. 10:15 a.m. 75 minutes until Ms. Reeves might arrive. My hands had already begun to shake. I need my insulin, I said carefully. I'll go into diabetic ketoacidosis without it. Then maybe you should have thought about that before being born defective, Grant sneered, shoving past me. No more insulin. No more special treatment. You either survive like a normal person, or you don't. They left me in the bathroom. I heard the TV click on, sports blaring. Mom popped another bottle of champagne, celebrating their cruelty. In my room, I grabbed my emergency kit hidden in a hollowed-out textbook. Inside, a glucose meter, ketone strips, glucose tablets, and my phone with Ms. Reeves on speed dial, but no insulin. My secret supply in the fridge had been destroyed by Grant last week. By 10:45, my blood sugar was 250. My mouth was dry, vision blurring. I drank water. It wouldn't help much, but I needed to try. I texted Ms. Reeves. Emergency. They destroyed my insulin. Please come now. Her reply was immediate. On my way. If you need immediate medical attention, call 911. I wanted to wait. I needed her to see this. To witness what they had done. By 11 o'clock my blood sugar hit 300. Nausea churned in my stomach. My breathing grew labored. I stumbled into the living room. I need a hospital, I said, gripping the doorframe. My blood sugar is over 300. Mom glanced at me, then back at the TV. Stop being dramatic. I'm going into DKA, I gasped. Diabetic ketoacidosis. It's fatal without treatment. Everything's fatal with you, Grant muttered, eyes glued to the screen. First it's insulin, then it'll be something else. We're done enabling your weakness. At 11:20 my legs gave out. I collapsed in the doorway, my body hitting the floor hard. Through blurred vision I saw them stand, not in concern but in annoyance. Get up, Grant barked. Stop faking. I couldn't respond. My meter had read high the last time I checked. My breathing was rapid and shallow. Kuzmal breathing, a desperate attempt to expel the acid building in my blood. Then the doorbell rang. Mom hurried to answer, feigning casualness. I'm here for the scheduled home visit, came Ms. Reeves' firm voice. We weren't expecting, Mom began. That's the point of surprise visits, Mrs. Davidson. May I come in? I managed a weak groan. Enough. Ms. Reeves pushed past her and saw me on the floor. She dropped to her knees, pulled out her phone and dialed 911. I need an ambulance immediately. Diabetic teenager in severe distress. She's faking, Grant snapped. She does this for attention. Ms. Reeves checked my pulse, her face hardening. She's barely conscious. Her breathing is labored. And look, she picked up my glucose meter. Her blood sugar is critical. What happened to her insulin? She must have forgotten to take it, Mom lied smoothly. With every shred of strength left, I forced out the words. They flushed it. Toilet. Ms. Reeves' face shifted from concern to fury. You destroyed her medication? She doesn't need, Grant began. She's type 1 diabetic. Ms. Reeves shouted. She'll die without insulin. This is attempted murder. The EMTs arrived within minutes, though it felt like hours. They checked my sugar, 450, and immediately started for insulin. How long has she been without it? One asked. They flushed it this morning, Ms. Reeves said grimly, already on the phone with the police. Her entire month's supply. As they loaded me onto the stretcher, Grant tried to explain. She's always complaining about something. We thought she was exaggerating. She's in diabetic ketoacidosis, the EMT interrupted sharply. Another hour and she'd be in a coma. 2 hours and she'd likely be dead. At the hospital, Dr. Patel stabilized me, documenting everything. The dangerous sugar levels, the ketones, the acid buildup shutting down my organs. You're lucky, she said once I was stable. Your social worker arriving when she did saved your life. Ms. Reeves stayed with me, taking my statement when I was coherent enough. I told her everything, not just about today but months of abuse. Grant destroying supplies, Mom hiding my glucose tablets, both of them calling me defective and a mistake. I've been documenting it, I said, handing her my phone. Photos of destroyed vials. Recordings of threats. Medical records showing inconsistent treatment because of them. That evening, police arrested them both. Grant was charged with attempted murder and assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Mom was charged as an accessory and with medical neglect. The prosecutor said that denying life-saving medication to a diabetic child was one of the clearest cases of attempted murder she had ever seen. During the trial, the evidence was overwhelming. My medical records showed perfect diabetes management until Grant entered our lives. After that, a disturbing pattern emerged. Dangerous highs, repeated hospital visits, and deliberate sabotage. Text messages between Grant and my mother revealed their plan. Let nature take its course and solve the insulin problem permanently. But the most damning evidence was the security footage. Ironically, Grant had installed cameras to monitor me, not realizing they would record his crimes. The videos showed him destroying insulin multiple times, blocking me from my supplies, and that final morning, flushing vial after vial while I begged him to stop. When I gave my victim impact statement, I stood in court with my insulin pump visible. The court had ensured I now had proper medical equipment, something my own family had tried to deny me. You called diabetics nature's mistakes, I said, staring directly at Grant. But nature also created insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. Mine just don't work. That doesn't make me a mistake. It makes me someone who needs medical support. Just like someone with poor vision needs glasses. Then I turned to my mother. You told me I should disappear properly. But what disappeared was your humanity. You watched your child dying on the floor and felt annoyed, not afraid. That's not natural. That's monstrous. Grant was sentenced to 20 years for attempted murder. Mom received 12 years as an accessory. Both permanently lost custody rights. Ms. Reeves became my temporary guardian until I turned 18. She made sure I had continuous glucose monitors, insulin pumps, backup supplies everywhere. She attended every endocrinologist appointment, learned carb counting, and kept glucagon pens in her purse. You saved yourself, she told me once. By documenting everything, by timing that visit, you orchestrated your own rescue. Now I'm in college studying biomedical engineering with a focus on insulin delivery systems. My diabetes is perfectly managed. My A1C is 6.2, better than many non-diabetics. I wear my insulin pump proudly, never hiding it beneath clothes. I speak at conferences about medical child abuse, especially the withholding of life-saving medications. I tell parents of newly diagnosed type 1 kids, diabetes isn't a tragedy. It's a condition that requires support, not shame. One day, I received a letter from Grant in prison. He claimed I destroyed his life over tough love. I mailed him back a photo of me at my college graduation, insulin pump visible on my hip, degree in hand. On the back I wrote, "This, nature's mistake, just graduated summa cum laude. Turns out insulin works better than your parenting ever did." The toilet where he flushed my insulin is still in that house, but another family lives there now. They'll never know that bathroom was nearly a murder scene. But I know. Every time I inject insulin or adjust my pump, I remember the swirling water and choose life. Not despite my diabetes but with it. Proudly. Defiantly. They tried to kill me by taking away what kept me alive. Instead they proved that my life was worth fighting for, worth documenting, worth saving. My blood sugar may spike and drop, but my worth remains constant. Infinite. Independent of anyone's opinion about whether I deserve to exist. I'm alive because science created insulin, because I was smart enough to document attempted murder, and because Ms. Reeves arrived just in time. I'm thriving because doctors knew how to reverse ketoacidosis. But mostly, I'm here because I refused to disappear. Properly or improperly. I stayed visible, vocal, and vital. Even as my blood turned acidic. Even as my organs began to shut down. Even as they stood over me insisting I was faking. Type 1 diabetes means my pancreas doesn't produce insulin. It doesn't mean I don't deserve to live. Grant and Mom thought they could play God, deciding who deserves medicine, who deserves life. Now they're in prison, learning that attempting to kill a child with a chronic illness isn't tough love or natural selection. It's just attempted murder with extra steps. My insulin pump beeps occasionally, reminding me to check my blood sugar or quietly delivering the hormone that keeps me alive. Each beep is a tiny rebellion against their cruelty. A soft, electronic declaration. I deserve to exist. I deserve to thrive. I am not nature's mistake. I am nature's reminder that humanity means helping each other survive, especially when our bodies need assistance. And if anyone tries to flush that away, well, that's what prison is for.